This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 272 of the Action Movie Guys podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and it's my co-host,
Alex Figueroa.
And on this episode, we are traveling back in time to 2010 for another comic book film that did not receive a sequel, did not become a franchise. It's a little movie called The Losers. Now, this movie has a pretty crazy cast. You got Idris Elba, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Zoe Saldana, Jason Patric, Chris Evans, a lot of big names, but you have never seen this. Is that correct?
I never heard of it or saw it. So yeah.
You didn't even know it existed.
No, I never did.
Interesting, especially because you're a DC. But I know this is not like a mainline big DC property, but directed by Sylvan White, who I think has only made like 3 or 4 movies. I know he did Stomp the Yard because this got the Stomp the Yard guy in it, Columbus Short.
Stomp the Yard guy.
Yeah, so there you go. Now, before we get into it, I'm excited to get your take since you've never seen it. I have seen this movie more than once, so I've seen it a few times. But before we get into it, let's get some Rotten Tomato scores. They're not amazing. They're better than the last Pirates movie, but they're not great. So this one has a 48% critic score.
That's not bad.
And a not horrible, but not great. And a 54%. So same exact audience score as Stranger Tides, but obviously was not a big critical hit or financial hit because they never made another one. Surprising about the numbers?
I'm a little surprised due to the cast, but the cast wasn't like as big as what they are now.
Yeah.
So,
You gotta think, Zoe Saldana at this point had done Star Trek and Avatar, but not Gamora yet.
No.
Chris Evans was not Captain America yet. Idris Elba was not Idris Elba yet. So you're right. I think this was pre-big fame for most of them.
yeah, and Jeffrey D. Morgan wasn't Thomas Wayne yet.
He wasn't Thomas Wayne. He wasn't Negan. He had done only like Watchmen. The only thing I knew it from was Watchmen when this came out because he was a comedian.
And he was John Winchester in Supernatural. He was the father to the boy.
Okay. There you go. So I never watched that, but he was that. So he was a TV guy.
Yeah.
So he wasn't,
He was a TV guy. Yeah.
Jason Patric was the most famous one in this because he was in Speed 2, Cruise Control. He plays the villain in this movie. So he was the one I knew the most. Just kidding. I knew Chris Evans, though, from like his comedy. He had done a lot of comedies in Fantastic Four. Anyway, let's talk about it because this got a crazy cast. So for lead, I guess Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the leader of the group.
Yeah, Clay.
But we'll talk about the group because this is an ensemble movie. The Losers is a group of people. So take it away.
I gave them all a 4 as a unit. How did I mean, they were good. And the thing is like, what can you say? Because honestly, they're not superheroes. They're more like the A-Team without the creative MacGyver part of the A-Team. Like, these guys could make a bubble gum into like an atomic bomb to get out of something. Like, that's the A-Team. These guys were like, you subtract that skill, and this is what they were. They were like the 18 group. One knows how to shoot. The other one knows how to infiltrate. It looks good. Clay is more like Hannibal Smith that directs everybody. The Ezra Alba is like the slim version of B.A. Baracus.
Pretty much.
It's really...
And the other guy is the driver / explosives expert.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So like, and then you had the sniper that all he did was snipe. So is that a bad thing? No, but it kind of hurts the movie because what can you do when they're all just pretty much a military disemboweled or, you know, they got whatever. Like, you can't do much. Now, the characters themselves are all wonky and quirky and they're fun. You can feel the brother in, like, there. The only problem with this and the characters that I had, I kind of, like, I never heard of this movie. I never saw or read this damn movie or heard of it. But I kind of knew within like 20 minutes in that Ezra Alba was going to be bad and Zoe Saldana was going to turn on them. Like, I already knew. And my wife was like, how the hell did you? I was like, Ezra Alba always had that, like, that bad, like, even like when he did Star Trek Beyond, like, he had that type of reverse role. Like, he's good and then you can see when he goes bad. So, like, I kind of knew with that. And then Saldana, you kind of knew, like why she, like, I kind of felt like she wasn't going to be part of the group until later. But I can't say, it felt very basic in terms of these characters. I didn't gravitate to them. I didn't go, yay, this is cool. But they did some cool stuff. That's what I would say. But they're like the like a bootleg, they like the Wish version of the A-Team for me.
The B-Team.
To be honest. The B-Team, yeah. They're the B-Team. They're not the A-Team. They're the B-Team. Yeah. But I gave them a 4. I thought they were great together.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because this movie reminds me of the A-Team movie. Like there's a lot of similarities. They're not exactly the same, but there's a good amount of similarities. Like both have a scene that's like down in a downtown area where there's an action scene. Like there's a lot of similarities, but they're not exactly the same. I gave them a 4, and here's what honestly, for me, it could have been a 5, but I'll tell you what prevents it. First of all, the cast is really good. When you have this many good actors, like you expect them to do well. Like Chris Evans, even though he wasn't Captain America yet, he already had done a lot of movies, and I liked him pre-Captain America. Like I used to like his comedy stuff. Not Another Teen Movie, and I remember him from this movie. In those Fantastic Four movies, even though they're not great, I always kind of liked him fine. So I like him in this. I think he's funny. I actually like his character, and I like his camaraderie with Pooch, the black guy. Like I like they're funny. Yeah, they're fun. Like they're legit funny. Like I laughed quite a bit. I laughed at the scene where him and Idris Elba are laying in the street. He's like, "You can't talk. You're dead." He's like pissing him off. He's like, "I have a spinal injury. You're dead." And then he's like, "I'm gonna kill you, really, if you don't shut up." Like, how he kind of gets on everyone's nerves. So I dug that. I like the team aspect of it. They all do their roles well. Like Idris Elba's the tough guy. Like, don't piss me off. But you can tell like those are his boys and stuff like that until the end when he's like, "I'm out of here. Y'all are pissing me off." Which, can you blame him? This guy, Clay, apparently every time a woman comes in, he screws everything up. So I wasn't even that mad at him. And there's the problem. Clay is what prevents this from getting. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is sleepwalking through this whole movie compared to everybody else. He delivers all his lines like this. He never has any inflection. He never yells. He never gets excited. He just talks like this the whole time. And he's also wearing a suit the whole time. Like all these other guys are wearing, military stuff. This dude's wearing a white t-shirt and a jacket. I'm like, I hate it. And I looked up some pictures from the comic. That's what he wears in the comic book. So I guess it's actually accurate to like the comic, but that doesn't mean that they had to do it in the movie. Like it's not like a costume. You know, superheroes wear costume. He's just wearing a suit. Get this guy in some tactical gear like everybody else. I don't know. He was the weak point for me, and he was supposed to be the leader. Zoe Saldana is super hot in this movie. Super. 10 out of 10. Smoking. And I like her character. I like the little twist where, again, you're right. The writing's on the wall that she somehow is aware of them. But she comes back with that rocket launcher at the end and helps them out. And it would have been funny if she shot that rocket launcher and then went flying back because she's so skinny. That would have been funny. But no, she just shoots it. Funny. Exactly. And this is kind of a comedy. They could have put her it could have still worked if they did something like that. But either way, I gave them a 4 overall because, they're not a 5, but they're fun. I think they're funny and they have a good have a good chemistry with each other. Except the sniper guy, he barely talks, but he gets some cool action scenes. So I guess there's that.
He was like, "Don't touch my hat."
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
They kicked her in the face.
Yeah. All right. So lead villain, this is Max. This is our boy, Jason Patrick. Speed 2, cruise control. What did you think?
Continuing on, baby. He got a 1.
Oh.
He just like his number 1 in Speed Control 2 when we did it. He's not good. He's not a good actor. I don't know what the hell they saw in this guy to helm a Speed movie and to be a villain in this movie. He is not good. His character sucks. He is not in the film until, oh my God, they show him he's not in this. He had to film for a day. There is no way you could tell me this dude had multiple shots in this movie because the ending is one of the wackest endings with this guy. He's holding a nuke. He's like, all right, what's the problem with these villains? These superhero movies, what? You gotta save whatever. He chucks it into the thing and the guy saves it. I'm like, what is this? He sucked. They didn't fight him. He's like the guy who just orders stuff around and has corny dialogue where everyone gets shot in the shoulder and then gets mugged in the bus. He sucks. He's not he's horrible. I give him a 1.
Dirty hand, whatever's wrong with his hand.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, and I don't know. He betrayed them for some damn reason. I gave him a 1. He's whack.
All right. Well, I think his acting in this movie is really hammy. It is not a serious movie, but he really went for the ham and cheese Lunchables vibe.
Lunchables.
We're gonna start calling these kind of performances the Lunchables performance. He gave this the Lunchables, but I gotta say, I would be lying if I didn't say some of his lines made me laugh. Because you're right, they're so cheesy, but a few of them hit for me. I love the part where he's talking to the guy from he's in Batman vs Superman, his right hand man guy. Wasn't he in Batman vs vs Superman, or he was in Justice League. One of them. He's the one that's on the rooftop with Batman. I think it's Justice League. And anyway, he's talking with him, and he's like, "You gotta hire a 12-man killing squad or whatever." So the guy does it. He's like, "You're gonna have to kill the 12-man killing squad." He's like, "Can I just fire them?" He's like, "Yeah, well, I guess." He's like, "Yeah, but he explains something else." He's like, now you gotta kill him again. Like, that whole thing made me laugh. I love when he shoots the lady because she falls with the umbrella. That part made me laugh. She goes like, and the wind blows. Bro, it's so stupid, but it made me laugh like so hard. I don't know why. I always remember that scene too. Other than that, you're right. He's like a James Bond villain, like of the old James Bond movies. Like, wants a bomb. Okay. Yeah, he has these bombs that can like destroy the thing without any like nuclear fallout, without any pollution. It just like implodes. And he wants these bombs, and he has a glove. He's very Bond villain, but like the cheesy ones. I gave him a 2 because he made me laugh. I would have gave him a 1 if he didn't make me laugh at all. 1, but because I don't know what happened here, he made me laugh. I gave him a 2. So I don't think he's good. But
remember the other scene when he went like that, and the guy threw him off the roof, and he goes, "Why did you throw him off the roof?" He was like, "'Cause you gave me the sign." He was like,
"That was to break his fingers at most." Threw the guy off the roof. Yeah, that part. That's another part.
Scientist.
Yeah,
he's a brilliant scientist. You just killed him.
Yeah, I love his reaction in that scene. I thought it was pretty funny. So, and the Puerto Rico. Listen, this is a good part. Okay, my last bit. When he is talking with him and he's describing what they're doing, and the guy's like, "What's that?" He's like, "Well, do you know anything about like nuclear physics?" "No." "Well, do you know anything about particle?" "No." "Well, do you know anything about?" He's like, "Well, then don't worry. Then don't worry about it. What are you asking what we're doing?" Pretty much like you don't know anything. I thought that was funny. But anyway, 1 for you, 2 for me. He's not a good villain. He's pretty bad. Okay, action.
5.
Ooh. So we're back up. Coming back up.
Movie. Yeah, he went all the way back to the maximum on this one. I like it. See, the shooting in this is like, again, this reminded me of like Smoking Aces. It reminded me of like I said, A-Team, very heavy A-Team comparisons here, but it reminded me of like that Smoking Aces type of film. Like, it was just wonky, but the action is so good between everybody. Like, the sniper was my dude. When the scene that he shot the motorcade when they were going down the street and he disabled the vehicles, he shot the tire off one and the other one he shot the engine block. Loved it. I was like, this dude is awesome. Like, he's cool. The ending was really good. I thought the ending was really good when the action picked up. I didn't like the third act, like that final one piece between Max and Clay. That was whack.
It was not that good. Yeah.
Other than that, the action scenes, I thought it was really good. Even with Chris Evans when he was like, "I'm gonna shoot you guys."
Oh, I love that part.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes, "I got powers, guys."
And they go flying back. Yeah. That was awesome. I love that part.
I like that. Like, and then the beginning, I ain't gonna lie, the beginning got me. I was like, "Oh my God, don't shoot those kids." And they shot the kids. And I was just like, damn. Yeah, it was really bad. I was like, damn. Yeah. So I like it. Overall, I was engaged with the action. I thought the action was really good in this movie. So I gave it a 5.
Nice. Yeah, I gave it a 4. I like it a lot. I think it's fun. This is one of those movies. If this was rated R, I might have gave it a 5. But because they do the thing in the beginning, I don't like this. At the beginning scene when they're raiding the house, every time they shoot somebody, it like pauses. It's like a freeze frame. I didn't like that editing choice. But maybe it was because they didn't want to show blood splatter because this is PG-13. So instead of that, you get the, for impact. I get it. I didn't love it. Other than that, you're right. Fun. I even like the fight in the hotel with Zoe Saldana and Clay, where they like set it on fire. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to have just like a funny sort of, it reminded me of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where they're fighting in the house and they're, I was okay with it. You're right. The Clay and Roke fight at the end, not that good. It should have been better, but it was not that great. But the whole like dock scene, or what? Not the dock. What is that thing called? The
shipyard.
The shipyard, yeah. That whole scene was pretty strong. Besides that bullet thing, I think the beginning action scene is strong with the kids when they get them out. Yeah, I forgot that they blow up the helicopter full of kids. That's pretty crazy for a movie where they just explode a bunch of 10-year-olds. So that was pretty neat. Yeah, I think that it's competent. Some of it is shot with some flair. It's not super basic. They try to do some crazy editing. You made some good comps. A-Team, Smoking Aces. Smoking Aces rated R, so it's a little plus, but similar vein. I agree with you 100%. All right, so 5 for you, 4 for me. What do you think about the storyline?
Okay, so for me, the storyline wasn't as strong because it's kind of like, Oh man, we keep using today's. We've been using a lot of basics, and it was a basic storyline, and it was like not even basic is like kind of wrong to say. It was very like if you watch these type of movies, you know the outcome. It's like one of those type of movies. Like I didn't like that, and I wasn't too crazy with it. And it's weird for a choice of a comic book movie. This is the storyline they went with. It was very revenge, and I like revenge. I don't want people to be like, oh no, I like revenge movies, but this revenge movie didn't feel rewarding. Like I wasn't rewarded with the of them avenging nothing because they didn't get Max at the end. He ran away with his injured arm. Idris Elba, yeah, but it wasn't the team. Right? It was just like which was a cool scene when the sniper shot the bike and the bike flew over and it hit the plane and then the money burnt and all this BS. But I wasn't feeling it, man. I didn't feel the storyline much. And then another revenge story with Zoe Saldana's character, avenging her father because Clay killed him. So I thought it was basic. I gave it a 2. I thought the storyline was decent. I don't think it was good. I thought it was a decent.
Yeah. Okay. I was 1 point over you, so we're kind of flip flopping all around here. I gave it a 3. I thought it was decent. You're right. It is definitely basic. It's pretty by the numbers. The only reason I gave it a 3 is I like the aspects of the losers as a group. I think they're written well, and I think their dialogue is written, except Clay, honestly. Everyone else is written pretty well. He holds it back from being better. Like, if he had more stakes in it other than this guy was a voice on the radio, he blew up some kids, and now I want to go get him because I can't go to America. It's a little too bland for me. Everyone else had a better reasons, like, for wanting to return home. You know what I mean? Like Pooch, he got a wife. She's having a baby. Yeah. Chris Evans got his family. He's got his niece. He wants to go see her play soccer. Idris Elba wants to get back to doing work, military, blah, blah. This guy, they don't really, what does he got to go home for? He just, nothing. And then he makes it about, I got to get my boys home, pretty much. So when your leader is that kind of, it minuses a bit, but I think it was pretty good. I think it moves quick. The pacing is good. So the storyline is just but it's very basic. Like, this is, where it's going to go before it gets there pretty much every time. So I did give it a 3, though. I thought it was good, but nothing more. What is your overall?
A 3. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I don't think it was boring or horrible movie. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a solid comic. I could say graphic novel because honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a graphic novel.
Yeah, so it's a solid graphic novel adaptation of a live version. So I thought it was cool, to be honest with you. I don't think it's up there with SimCity and all the other stuff, but I kind of give him a lot of credit. I thought it was pretty cool. And did it warrant a sequel? No, because again, then it would have been something else. But I like it for what it was. I gave it a 3.
I gave it the same score as you. I have a 3. And you're right. I could totally tell why this didn't get a sequel.
Yeah.
It was a fine one-off. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Not every movie needs to be a franchise. This was a good one-off. It told a story. If you did go with a sequel, you're not going to have Idris Elba's character back, which was, he was cool. Max is not a villain that you want to ever see again, really. So, what else was there for them to do? They had a mission. It went bad. They got revenge, and then they went home. It summed up their story. But it's fun. I think the reason why this movie, I do own this one, and I've seen it a number of times. This is one of those movies that's it's so easy to watch. It's very easily digestible. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's 90 minutes. It's got some action. It's got some humor. It won't disrespect you. It won't insult your intelligence, but you won't watch it and be blown away by it. But you'll have a decent time. So this is a good, solid comic book movie, a good, solid action movie. I wouldn't go so far as to call it underrated. Maybe compared to the, maybe compared to the 48% score. I think it's better than, more people should have liked it than that. But yeah, I can't really say it's a hidden gem or anything. It's fine. It's pretty good. It's a decent, solid action movie. All right. So what's your total?
15 out of a 25.
So we're 1 point. Like, yeah, I gave it a 16 out of 25.
Okay.
It's solid. It's good. But I think we both know why there's only one of these. If you watch this movie, you'll too know why there's only one of these. All right. So coming up on the Action Movie Guys podcast next week, we have, we're wrapping up Pirates. So I know you're excited about this. We're going to be moving on to a new franchise, and we will be doing Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. That's straight off the ride, just like that. That's how the guy says it. And then we are doing a movie that I absolutely love. I won't, sometimes I don't do spoilers, but this is in my top 25 favorite movies of all time. So don't expect any bad scores from me, probably, but we're going to be doing Watchmen. Now, Alex and I will be reviewing the director's cut version. So This will be the 3-hour version, but without the cartoon part of it. So we're not factoring that in. So we're going to be doing Last Pirates and then Watchmen, a Zack Snyder movie, by the way.
Yeah, I like, it's funny. I like The Watchmen. I seen it for the first time when I brought it on 4K. So I enjoyed it. It's crazy talking about Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Imagine if Zack Snyder did The Losers.
It would be better. I
think it would have been shot better. Yeah. I don't know about the storyline or whatever, but I think the characters would have been more fun. I think he would have been.
If he directed it, it would have been rated R. The action would have been better for sure.
Yeah. Oh, hands down. But anyway, with that said, you guys want to follow us in our social media accounts, please follow Nate over on Instagram at Netflix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called Netflix Movie Reviews. Anything Action Movie Guys, head over to Instagram at Action Movie Guys Podcast, or head over to our official website at geeksandflix.com. Other than that, he is your host,
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
I'm his co-host, Alex Figueroa. Be awesome to each other and geek out.